This is an introduction to the Codex app for people who are completely new to it. Codex is OpenAI's coding agent in a desktop app. It opens a project folder, reads the files, edits code, runs commands, shows previews, and helps review the result before anything is accepted. To keep this real, the video uses official Codex app screenshots and a small working demo project called Focus Sprint. You will see both the interface and the finished app, so each idea connects to something visible. Start inside Codex by selecting the Real Project folder. That folder is the boundary for what Codex can inspect and change, so choose the code you actually want to work on. For this beginner demo, the project folder contains 4 simple files: index.html, styles.css, app.js, and verify.js. A useful first prompt is, explain this project and tell me how to run it. When you start a thread, Codex can run in local, worktree, or cloud mode. For the first lesson, use local mode so the task stays close to the selected project on the computer. Local is good for reading files, making a small app change, and running the existing scripts. Worktree is useful for isolated experiments, and cloud is useful for longer remote jobs, but a beginner should first understand the local loop. A beginner prompt should be specific and small. In the demo, the task is to build a tiny Focus Sprint timer app using only HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. The prompt gives Codex a goal, a few constraints, and a clear done when: create the files, make the timer work, and add a simple verification script. This is much better than asking Codex to build a whole product at once. Smaller tasks are easier to review and easier to correct. Codex is useful because it does not only talk about code. It can inspect and change the actual files in the selected project. For the Focus Sprint demo, the app logic lives in app.js. The file controls the timer, the start and pause button, the reset button, and the status message. When teaching beginners, this matters: show the file Codex changed, not only a decorative slide. Codex can read files, edit them, and run commands, but those actions are controlled by permissions and sandboxing. When Codex asks to run something, read the command before continuing. For beginners, the safest habit is to keep the request narrow, stay inside the project folder, and ask Codex to explain any command that looks unfamiliar. Codex can do the mechanical work, but the user remains in charge of what gets changed. After Codex creates or edits code, do not stop at the message that says it is done. Run a check. The Focus Sprint demo includes a small verify script, and a real terminal output says the demo check passed. On a larger project, this might be npm test, pnpm build, lint, or a framework-specific command. The beginner rule is simple: if Codex changes code, ask it to prove the change. Do not judge a Codex task only by the final message. Open the changed files and inspect the diff in Codex. Look for accidental scope creep, new dependencies, broken layout, or a fix that only hides the real issue. Then ask a focused follow-up in plain language: make the layout cleaner, add a check, or explain why this file changed. Review is where the beginner learns what Codex did. If the diff surprises you, stop and ask why. For visual work, look at the result. The demo app was opened in a browser and captured as a real preview. The timer, controls, and task list are visible. Codex also supports browser previews and artifacts for files, so beginners can inspect the actual page, document, or generated output beside the thread. That is more trustworthy than a summary alone. Here is the beginner Codex workflow. Open Codex, choose a real project, and start with a small local task. Give Codex one clear prompt, let it inspect and edit the files, run a real check, preview the output, and review the diff. If something is unclear, ask a focused follow-up. That is how a new user can move from a blank project folder to a working app without losing control of the code.